Morning, students. Welcome to another session. Today we'll be looking at learning outcome 7, which is be able to understand and leverage product mindset to build customer-centric products. So these are the indicative content. The first one is product mindset. Second one is product ownership, product strategy. Yes, okay, let me see if you can hear me or not. Yeah, I think my sound is okay. Yeah. So product strategy, systems thinking, agile metric and KPIs with intent. So what is product mindset? The product mindset refers to strategic approach adopted by organizations or individuals focused on creating and delivering products that effectively meet customer needs and drive business success. So this is the strategic, this is the approach, the strategic approach or the ways by which organizations or individuals are focused on creating and delivering products that effectively meet customer needs and drive business success. It encompasses a set of principles, methodologies, and attitudes geared toward innovation, customer centricity, and continuous improvement. So what is the definition itself? The product mindset emphasizes the importance of viewing products not just as features or solutions, but as holistic offerings that provide value to users. It involves understanding customer pain points, identifying opportunities for innovation, and iteratively refining products based on feedback and data. This mindset fosters a culture of creativity, collaboration, and adaptability within organizations, enabling them to deliver products that resonate with users and stay ahead of market trends. What is the importance of customer centricity? Yeah. What is the importance of customer centricity in product development? Customer centricity lies at the core of the product mindset. By placing the customer needs, preferences, and experiences at the forefront of product development efforts, organizations can create solutions that genuinely address user challenges and deliver meaningful value. So yesterday we spoke about gathering feedback and obviously doing what the customer demand for creating a product. So obviously we have to be able to communicate with customer, and we have to be able to give them what they want and everything. So this approach not only enhances customer satisfaction, but also foster loyalty, drives user engagement, and ultimately fuels business growth. Customer-centric product development, it involves gathering insights through user research, conducting usability testing, and iterating on designs based on user feedback to ensure that products align with customer expectation and deliver superior user experiences. So, overview of key concepts covered in this section. So we have the user-centered design, agile methodology, minimum viable products, lean startup, design thinking. So user-centered design is literally the designing of products and services with the end user in mind. So this involves communicating with the end user. So everything that we design or everything that is made is centered around the user. It involves understanding user behaviors, preferences, and pain points through research, observation, and using these insights to inform the design process. Agile methodology. Agile is a different project management approach that emphasizes iterative development, collaboration, and flexibility. It enables teams to respond quickly to changes, prioritize tasks, and based on value, deliver working software incrementally. MVP, minimum viable product. And MVP is the simplest version of a product that allows teams to test hypotheses, gather feedback, and validate assumptions with minimal effort and resources. It helps mitigate risks associated with product development by enabling early validation of ideas and reducing time market. So obviously, like, this means that, like, we test the simplest version of the product. So take, for example, like you are building a software and all. So obviously, like, you test the simple version of it, and obviously, like, you gather feedback from users and all, so that obviously you can know where to improve and where to make adjustments on. So lean startup. The lean startup methodology advocates for systematic approach to building and managing startups, focusing on rapid experimentation, validated learning, and iterative product development. It encourages entrepreneurs to test their assumptions, pivot based on feedback, and iterate on their product or business model to achieve sustainable growth. Design thinking. Design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation that involves empathizing with users, defining problems, ideating solutions, prototyping concepts, and testing assumptions. It encourages interdisciplinary collaboration and creates problem solving to address complex challenges and uncover opportunities for innovation. So the next thing we'll be looking at is product ownership. Understanding product ownership. In Agile methodology, the role of a product owner is pivotal in ensuring the success of a project. So here's an overview of the role of a product owner in Agile teams. Their responsibility and the importance of having a clear product vision. So what's the role of a product owner in Agile teams? Product owner serves as the bridge between the stakeholder and the development team in Agile project. So they are the middleman between the stakeholders or the users and the development team. So the people that develop the project. So the product owner are like in between them. They act as the voice of the customer, representing their needs, preferences, and priorities throughout the development process. Product owners collaborate closely with stakeholders, including customers, users, business leaders, and development teams to ensure that the product meets their requirements, delivers value. Yes, second. Yeah. So responsibility of a product owner. Over the week, we've been looking at like what product owner is. So today we'll be looking at the detailed responsibility of them. So defining and prioritizing product backlog, communicating vision and goals, making decision, acceptance testing, stakeholder management, achievement planning and review. So defining and prioritizing product backlog, this means that they are responsible for creating and maintaining the product backlog. So they prioritize list of features, enhancements, and fixes. They also work closely with the stakeholder and to gather requirements and also clarify user stories and prioritize backlog items based on business values and customer needs. Communicating visions and goals. So obviously, like, the product owners articulate the product's vision and goals to the development team. So they give them the goals and the vision, and they do this by they do this to ensure that there's an alignment and clarity of purpose. They provide context for user stories, explain acceptance criteria, and answer questions to guide the team in delivering the desired outcomes. Also, they make decisions. Product owners, because they have communication with the stakeholders, they can make critical decisions throughout the project, such as accepting or rejecting completed work, adjusting priorities based on feedback, and changing market conditions. and resolving conflicts or trade-offs between competing interests. Acceptance test. So product owners collaborate with the development team to define acceptance criteria for users and user stories and features. They participate in acceptance testing to ensure that deliverables meet quality standards and fulfill the intended purpose. Stakeholder management. Product owners engage with stakeholders to gather feedback, address concerns, and manage expectations. They facilitate communication between stakeholders and the development team, ensuring transparency and alignment throughout the project's lifecycle. Iterative planning and review. Product owners participate in iterative planning sessions, such as sprint planning and sprint review meetings. Also, they plan stand-ups and everything to find the product backlog, prioritize work for upcoming sprints, and review progress against goals and expectations. Importance of having a clear product vision. So, what are the importance of having a clear product vision? A clear product vision serves as a guidance beacon for the development team, aligning efforts and inspiring collective action towards a common goal. It provides context and direction, helping stakeholders understand the purpose and value of the product. A well-defined product vision enables product owners to make informed decisions, prioritize features effectively, and communicate expectations clearly to the development team. It fosters a shared understanding of the desired outcomes and motivates teams to collaborate and innovate in pursuit of success. Additionally, a clear product vision helps mitigate risks, reduce uncertainty, and adapt to changes in market dynamics or customer preferences more effectively, ensuring the long-term viability and competitiveness of the product. What is product strategy? So this is the next topic after product mindset, product ownership. Now we'll be looking at what product strategy is. So product strategy is a high-level plan that outlines how a product will achieve its objectives and fulfill the needs of its target market. It encompasses decisions regarding product positioning, differentiation, pricing, distribution, and lifecycle management. Product strategy provides direction for product development, marketing and sales efforts, guiding decisions and investments to maximize value creation and competitive advantage. So how do we develop a product roadmap or developing a product roadmap? A product roadmap is a visual representation of strategic direction and plan evolution of a product over time. So this is literally like a map of how the product will be from the starting day to the end day and everything. So it's like a roadmap, like obviously, and what does a roadmap do? It outlines the direction and planning direction and plan evolution of a product over time. It outlines, it outlines key initiatives, features, and milestones that will be delivered to achieve the product strategy. Developing a product roadmap involves several steps. 1, define goals and objectives. Clearly articulate the overarching goals and objectives of the product strategy. This could include revenue targets, market share goals, customer satisfaction metrics, or product innovation objectives. And then gather inputs and insights. Collaborate with stakeholders, including customers, users, internal teams, and market analysts to gather input and insight. Understand market trends, customer needs, competitive landscape, and technological advancements that may impact the product roadmap. aligning product strategy with organizational goal. So how do we align product strategy with organizational goal? So aligning product strategy with organizational goal is essential for driving sustainable growth and maximizing value creation. Here are some key steps to align strategies with organizational goals. The first one is understand organizational goals. Obviously, like you have to understand, you have to gain an insight and a deep understanding of the overarching goals and priorities of the organization. So the goals can include financial targets, market expansion objectives. Identify strategic themes. You have to be able to identify strategic themes that align with the organizational goals and can be addressed through product innovation and development. These themes could relate to market penetration, product differentiation. Set product objectives. You have to define project objective and key results. So obviously, like you have to know what the product objective is and the key results for the product that support the broader organizational goals. The products this objective should be measurable, actionable, and time-bound. Prioritize initiatives. You have to prioritize product initiative and features based on their potential impact on organizational goals. Focus on initiatives that have the highest strategic alignment and value creation potential. Collaborate across functions. Foster collaboration and alignment across functional areas, including product management, marketing, sales, finance, and operations. So you have to ensure that all teams are aligned on the strategic direction goals. And the last one is measure and monitor progress. Establish metrics and KPIs to track progress towards organizational goals and evaluate the effectiveness of product strategy execution. Regularly review performance against these metrics, identify areas for improvement, and make adjustments to the product strategy as needed. So the next topic we're going to look at is applying systems thinking in product development. So systems thinking is a holistic approach to understanding complex systems by examining their interrelationships, feedback loops, and dynamic behavior. So when applied to product development, systems thinking helps teams identify and address the underlying cause of problems. So if you're developing a product and obviously like you want to like brainstorm, you have to be able to think systematically, and this can help you to like solve the problem and address the underlying cause of problems, optimize process, innovate more effectively. Here's how system thinking can be applied in product development. So identify and understand system boundaries. So scope definition, define the boundaries of the system be analyzed in product development. This includes identifying the key component stakeholders and process involved in bringing a product to market. Connectedness. Recognize that the product development process is interconnected with various external factors such as customer needs, market trends, technological advancements, and regulatory requirements. Subsystem identification. Break down the product development process into subsystems or modules to better understand their interactions and dependencies. This helps identify opportunities to optimization and integration. So analyzing feedback loops and system dynamics. So what is feedback loops? So identify feedback loops within the product development system, including reinforcing loops that amplify changes and balancing loops that stabilize the system. For example, customer feedback loops can influence product iteration, while quality control process may provide feedback to upstream development stages. Causal loop diagrams. Use causal loop diagrams to visualize the relationships between variables and feedback loops in product development systems. This helps identify product sources of delays, bottlenecks, and unintended consequences. Dynamic behavior. Analyze the dynamic behavior of the system over time, considering factors such as delays, non-linear relationships, and system resilience. This helps predict how the system will respond to changes of the stomach and identify opportunities for improvement. So leveraging system thinking to identify leverage points for improvement. So how do we do this? You have to identify leverage points. So leverage points are areas within the system where small changes can have a significant impact on overall performance or outcomes. Use system thinking to identify leverage points for improvement, such as optimizing critical process, reduce dependencies, or enhancing feedback mechanisms. System mapping. You have to create a system map, like obviously we spoke about that previously, or diagram to visualize the structure and behavior of the product development system. This helps identify potential leverage points and prioritize improvement efforts based on their potential impact feasibility. System archetypes. Recognize common patterns or archetypes of behavior within the product development system, such as limits to grow or fixes that backfire. Understanding these archetypes can help identify systemic issues and design more effective interventions. Continuous learning and adaptation. So you have to learn continuously. You have to embrace the mindset of continuous learning and adaptation in product development. Leveraging feedback loops and system dynamics to drive ongoing improvements. Encourage experimentation, collaboration, and knowledge sharing within cross-functional teams to foster innovation and resilience. Our next topic is Agile metrics and KPIs overview. So what is common Agile metrics and KPIs? So Agile metrics and the key performance indicators, which is KPI, provide insights into performances and health of Agile teams and projects. So here's an overview of some common Agile metrics and KPIs. We have the velocity, lead time, cycle time, burn down chart. So what is velocity? This measures the rate at which other Agile teams deliver value by completing user stories or tasks during the sprint. It helps the team estimate their capacity and predict how much work they can accomplish in future sprints. Lead time. Lead time measures the time it takes for a user or feature to move from the initial request to completion. It includes the time spent in development, testing, and deployment, providing insight into the efficiency of the delivery process. Cycle time. Cycle time measures the time it takes for a user story or feature to be completed once work begins on it. It focuses on the duration of the development process and helps identify bottlenecks or inefficiencies in the workflow. Burn down charts. Burn down charts track the progress of work within a sprint by plotting the remaining efforts against time. They provide a visual representation of how well the team is progressing towards completing the sprint goals and can help identify deviations from the plan. Category of Agile metrics. So the first one is Agile metrics can be categorized into several categories based on their focus and purpose. The first one, delivery metrics, quality metrics, team performance metrics, business value metrics. So what is delivery metrics? Delivery metrics focus on measuring the efficiency and effectiveness of the delivery process, including velocity, lead time, cycle time, burn down chart, and cumulative flow charts. What is quality metrics? Quality metrics focus on measuring the quality of deliverables, including defect density, defect escape rate, customer satisfaction, code metrics, e.g. code average, code complexity. Team performance metrics. This focus on measuring the performance and productivity of Agile teams, including team velocity, sprint success rates, and sprint commitment accuracy. What is business value metrics? Business value metrics focus on measuring the value delivered to customers or customers, including return or on investment, which is ROI, customer satisfaction, and time to market. So the next one is importance of selecting the right metrics for the context. So what is the importance? We'll be talking about the metric sense. So selecting the right metrics for the context is crucial for ensuring that agile teams and organizations focus on measuring what matters most and driving continuous improvement. Here is why it's important. Alignment with goals, relevance and actionability, avoid dysfunction, adaptability, and evolution. So what is alignment with goals? Metrics should be aligned with the overall goals and objectives of the organization or project. So all the metrics that you have should align with the goals set by the projects or the organization. Selecting metrics that directly contribute to the desired outcomes ensures that team focus on activities that drive value and impact. Relevance, the next one, relevance and actionability. Metrics should be relevant to the specific context and actionable by teams. Choosing metrics that are meaningful and actionable helps teams identify areas for improvement, make informed decisions, and drive change effectively. Avoid dysfunction. Selecting inappropriate or misleading metrics can lead to dysfunctional behavior, such as gaming the system or focusing on optimizing metrics at the expense of broader goals. It is important to choose metrics that encourage collaboration, innovation, and continuous learning. And the last one, which is adaptability and evolution. So agile metrics should be adaptable. So it must be adaptable, and it must be able to evolve over time to reflect changes in the organization, project, or market environment. Regularly reviewing and updating metrics ensures that they remain relevant, meaningful, and aligned with evolving goals and priorities. So this brings the end to learning outcome 7. So let's take a full break, like a minute break before we continue learning outcome 8. Welcome back. Let's continue with learning outcome 8. So what does learning outcome 8? What's learning outcome 8? Be able to understand and demonstrate knowledge of agile planning and estimation. So what are the indicative contents? The indicative contents are daily planning, iteration planning, release planning, product planning, strategy planning, relative estimation, and the usual roles. So what is agile planning? So this involves planning and estimations. Agile planning and estimation are integral components of agile software development methodologies, which prioritize flexibility, collaboration, and iterative developments to deliver high-quality products efficiently. In this introduction, we will explore the definitions of agile planning and estimation, their importance within agile framework, and an overview of the agile planning process. So what is the definition of agile planning? Agile planning is the process of continuously and collaboratively refining requirements, prioritizing tasks, and organizing work to deliver incremental values to customers. Unlike traditional waterfall methodologies, where all requirements are gathered upfront and detailed project plan is created, agile planning is iterative and adaptive. It focuses on responding to change and delivering working software in short frequent iterations such as sprints. What's the importance of estimation in Agile? So estimations plays a crucial role in Agile software development by providing stakeholders with a realistic understanding of project timelines, resource requirements, and potential risks. While Agile values responding to change over following a plan, estimation helps teams set expectations, allocate resources effectively, and make informed decisions about scopes and priorities. Estimation also fosters transparency and trust among team members and stakeholders by promoting open communication and shared understanding of project goals and constraints. So, overview of Agile planning process. So the Agile planning process typically involves several key activities: product backlog creation, release planning, sprint planning, daily stand-ups, sprint review, and retrospective. So what is product backlog creation? So this is a prioritized list of desired features and the desired features, enhancements, and fixes for the product. So this involves like all the fixes and all the features and enhancements of the product is found in the product backlog creation. It serves as the single source of truth for the team's work and evolves throughout the product based on feedback and changing requirements. What is release planning? This involves setting goals, defining the scope of upcoming releases, and establishing timelines based on priorities identified in the product backlog. What is sprint planning? Sprint planning occurs at the beginning of each iteration or sprint and involves selecting items from the product. Give me a second. Yeah, during the sprint. What is daily stand-ups? Like we said, daily stand-up is like a daily meeting. A daily scrum is a stand-up meetings or daily scrums are short-time boxed meetings where team members synchronize their activities, discuss progress, identify any obstacles or impediments. Sprint review and retrospective. At the end of each sprint, the team conducts the sprint reviews to demonstrate the work completed to stakeholders and gather feedback. So obviously, like in this part, they reflect on what they made and how they can improve with the feedback provided by the stakeholders. What is daily planning? The purpose of daily planning. Daily planning is a crucial aspect of personal productivity and time management. Its primary purpose is to help individuals organize their tasks, prioritize their priorities and goals for the day, enabling them to make the most efficient use of their time and resources. By setting clear objectives and creating a roadmap for daily activities. Daily planning enhances focus, minimizes distractions, and increase productivity. So what are the activities involved in daily planning? Daily planning involves several key activities aimed at structuring the day's tasks and responsibilities. The first one is setting goals and priorities. So you must begin by identifying the most important tasks, objectives that need to be accomplished. So you have to consider the long-term and the short-term goals and prioritize them based on urgency, importance, and impact. Reviewing existing commitments. You have to review any existing commitments. You have to review things such as appointments, meetings, or deadlines scheduled for the day. You have to take a note of any sensitive task or obligation that must be addressed. The next one is create a task list. So after doing the setting goals and priorities, reviewing existing commitments, you have to create a list of specific tasks and activities to be completed. Break them down into break the larger ones into smaller ones, so that obviously like it can be more manageable and achievable. Allocate time. So after creating the tasks, you have to allocate each task time and estimate the amount of time you need to complete each task. So the time needs to be realistic, and you have to be realistic about how much time we require. Organizing tasks, you have to organize tasks based on their priorities, deadlines, and dependencies. So from the one that obviously like the deadline is close to the one that the deadline is far away. So you have to organize tasks like that. Schedule breaks. Remember to schedule short breaks throughout the day to rest. Obviously, like you have to rest, you have to take breaks, you have to rest, and obviously so that you prevent burnout. Adjusting as needed. Remain flexible and are prepared to adjust your plan as circumstances change throughout the day. What is techniques for daily planning? The techniques for daily planning involves time blocking. So we have to by giving it specific time blocks for different tasks or categories of activities. Prioritizational techniques use frameworks like the Eisenhower matrix, APZ prioritization, or the Patrol principle to prioritize tasks based on their importance and impact. To-do list, you have to maintain a to-do list or task management. This helps you organize your task. Calendar integration, you have to integrate daily plans with your calendar to synchronize appointments, meetings, and deadlines with your task list. Morning routine, establish a consistent morning routine that includes time for reflection, planning, and goal setting. End of day review, after the day, you have to the same thing as morning routine. You have to conduct a brief review at the end of each day to assess progress, identify accomplishments, and prepare for the following day. The next one is what is iteration planning? Iteration planning is a key ceremony in Agile methodology such as Scrum, aimed at organizing and prioritizing the work to be completed during a specific time frame, known as an iteration or sprint. The primary purpose of iteration planning is to establish a shared understanding among team members regarding the goals, scope, and deliverables for the upcoming iteration. By collaboratively defining the work to be done and setting clear expectations, iteration planning enables teams to maximize productivity, mitigate risk, and deliver value incrementally. So, what are the components of iteration planning meeting? An iteration planning meeting typically consists of several key concepts, which includes review of the product backlog, discussion and clarification, estimation, task decomposition, assignment of task, definition of done, creation of the iteration backlog. So obviously, like review of product backlog, this involves the product backlog, which contains a prioritized list of user stories and tasks, serve as the point of iteration planning. The teams reviews the top items in the backlog and select those that can be feasibly completed within the upcoming iteration based on capacity and priority. Discussion and clarification. Excuse me. In this part, the team engage in discussion to clarify the requirements needed and for the completion of the product. Obviously, this ensures a shared understanding of the work to be done and helps identify any potential obstacles or challenges upfront. Estimation. The teams estimate the efforts required to complete tasks. Selected item using techniques such as planning poker, relative sizing, or story points. Task decomposition. For each story or task, the team breaks down the work into smaller and actionable tasks or subtasks. Assignment of tasks. Once tasks are identified and defined, team members assign themselves or assign specific tasks based on their skills, expertise, and availability. Definition of done. The team defines the criteria that must be met for each user story or task to be considered complete. Creation of the iteration backlog. Based on the outcomes of the iteration planning meeting, the team creates an iteration backlog. Techniques for iteration planning. We have time boxing. You have to set a specific time limit for the iteration planning and meet it to ensure focus and efficiency. Capacity planning. You have to consider the team's capacity and velocity when selecting items for the iteration backlog. Just-in-time planning. First of all, you have to avoid overcommitting or over-planning by deferring detailed planning until it's necessary. Visual management. You have to be able to use visual tools such as Kanban boards, task spots, or sprint backlogs to visualize the iteration backlog. Track progress and communicate status transparently within the team. Continuous improvement. After all this, you have to reflect on the outcomes, and obviously, you have to make necessary adjustments based on the feedback that you've been provided. What is release planning? Release planning is a strategic activity in Agile. In Agile software development that aims to define the scope, timeline, and deliverable for a product release. The primary purpose of release planning is to align the development team stakeholders and business goals and a shared vision for the product by establishing clear objectives, prioritizing features, and setting realistic expectations. Release planning enables teams to deliver value incrementally, manage risk, and meet customer needs effectively. So what are the components of release planning? The first one is vision and goals. You have to have a clear vision and you have to define the clear goal. This involves understanding the target markets, identify the customer needs. Scope definition, you have to determine what the scope will be by identifying the features, enhancements, and improvements that will be included, and prioritize the features based on their values to the customer. Release timeline, you have to establish timeline for the releases, including key milestones, deadlines, and delivery dates. Resource allocations, like the previous ones, you have to allocate the resources and obviously like to each team members, and obviously provide tools, infrastructures, and budgets. Ensure that resources are allocated effectively to support the plan and to plan scope and timeline. Risk assessments. Beforehand, identify potential risk and uncertainties that could impact the success of the release, such as technical challenges, resource restraints, or changes in market conditions. Dependencies and constraints. Identify dependencies between features or tasks within the release plan, as well as external dependencies of third parties, vendors, APIs, or infrastructures. Quality assurance and testing. So you have to define the quality assurance and testing strategies for the release, including types of testing to be performed. Maybe it is unit testing or so. And obviously have a testing environment and acceptance criteria. Communication and stakeholder engagement. You have to develop a communication plan to keep stakeholders informed at each stage. So everything you do, you have to like provide them regular updates. You have to collect feedback, and you have to give them, obviously the decision making to ensure transparency and alignment. Techniques for release planning. We have several techniques which includes incremental delivery. This involves an approach that involves incremental delivery approach, which features is delivered in small iterative increments rather than all at once. So obviously, like, once you do something, you give it to them. Do another thing, you give it to them. User story mapping. Use user story mapping to visualize the flow of features and user interaction within the product. Release burn down charts. Create release burn down charts to track progress towards the completion of planned features over time. Burn down charts provide visibility into the team velocity, identify potential bottlenecks, and facilitate course correction as needed. Capacity planning. Estimate the team's capacity and velocity to determine how much work can be realistically completed within the release time frame. Backlog refinement. Continuously refine the product backlog by grooming user stories, clarifying requirements, and reprioritizing features based on feedback and changing priorities. And the last one, release retrospective. Conduct a retrospective at the end of each release to reflect on what went well, what could be improved, and identify lessons learned for future planning efforts. So our next topic is product planning. What is product planning? This is a strategic process that involves defining the vision, goals, and roadmap for product throughout its life cycle. The primary purpose of product planning is to align the development efforts with the overall business objectives, market needs, and customer expectations. By establishing a clear direction and prioritizing initiatives, product planning enables teams to focus their resources effectively, mitigate risks, and deliver value that meets the needs of stakeholders and users. Components of product planning. This involves vision and strategy. Obviously, like we said before, you have to define the vision of the product, identify its purpose and its target market. Market analysis, you have to conduct a thorough analysis of the target market. So this involves knowing what the customer needs, the preferences, and the pain points. User research, you have to gather insights from user research activities, such as conducting interview, usability testing, and understanding user behaviors and preferences. Feature prioritization, you have to use frameworks such as Moscow, Kana model to prioritize the needs or the value of what the user needs. Roadmap development, you have to develop a roadmap. This means obviously defining a clear map of how the product will begin and how the product will start. Resource planning. This involves assessing the resource required to execute the product roadmap, including human resource, budget, and technology infrastructure. Risk management, obviously, like every product will probably have risk, so you have to be able to identify potential risk and uncertainties that may affect the success of the product, and obviously develop a strategy to mitigate or manage them proactively. Feedback collection. This is very important because you need feedback in order to be able to progress and improve on the product. This involves getting feedback from the stakeholders or from the users. Techniques for product planning. SWOT analysis. So you have to be able to conduct SWOT analysis. This is the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So you have to be able to know the strength. You have to be able to know the advantage, opportunities, and threats. Also, you have to know your competition strength, your competition weakness, and opportunities and threats. User personas. Create user personas to represent different segments of the target audience and their characteristics, needs, and goals. Use user personas help humanize the target audience and guide product decisions by aligning them with user needs and preferences. Feature prioritization techniques. Use techniques such as Eisenhower matrix, value versus effort analysis, or REST prioritization Minimum viable product. We looked at this a few days ago. Define the minimum viable product, the smallest set of features that solves a specific problem or address a key user need. User story mapping. Use user story mapping to visualize the user journey and organize features into logical sequence or workflows. A/B testing. Conduct A or B testing or split testing to compare different versions of a feature or design and determine which performs better with users. Iterative planning. Embrace an iterative approach to product planning where the product roadmap is continuously refined and adjusted based on feedback. So what is strategy planning? Obviously, this involves strategically. This is a process undertaken by organizations to define their long-term goals and objectives and outline the actions needs to achieve them. The primary purpose of strategy planning is to provide a roadmap for the organization, future direction, guiding decision-making, resource allocation, and prioritization of initiatives by aligning the organization activities with its mission, vision, and values. Strategy planning helps foster clarity, focus, and alignment among stakeholders, enabling sustainable growth and competitive advantage. So what are the components of strategy planning? Mission and vision. So you have to define the organization mission, its fundamental purpose or reason for existence, and its vision. So it's aspirational goals or desired future state. Environmental analysis. You have to conduct an analysis of the internal and external environment to identify opportunities, threats, strengths, and weakness that may impact the organization, to achieve its goals. Goal setting. So you have to be able to establish clear and measurable goals and objectives that align with the organization mission and vision. Goals should be specific, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, which is SMART, providing a clear direction for the organization activities and progress measurements. Strategic initiatives. Identify strategic initiatives. Give me a second. Identify strategic initiative or projects that will help the organization achieve its goals and objectives. Resource allocation. Allocate resources, including financial, human, and technological resources to support the implementation of strategic initiatives. Risk management. Identify potential risks and uncertainties that may affect the sources of the strategy and develop strategies to mitigate and manage them proactively. Monitoring and evaluation. Establish metrics, key performance indicators, and milestones to track progress towards strategic goals and objectives. Techniques of strategic planning. So, like I said, you have to SWOT analysis, conduct a SWOT analysis to assess the organization's internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as external opportunities and threats. You have to use PERSU. So, PERSU means political, environmental, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental that may impact the organization strategy. The PERSU analysis helps identify emerging trends, regulatory changes, and market shifts. Porter 5 force analysis. So apply Porter 5 force framework to access the competitive dynamics within an industry and identify the force shaping the organization's competitive position. Scenario planning. You have to develop alternative scenarios of future states based on different assumptions and outcomes to anticipate potential changes and uncertainties. Blue ocean strategy. Explore opportunities for creating uncontested market share of blue oceans where competition is irrelevant or non-existent. Balanced scorecard. Implement a balanced scorecard approach to translate the organization's strategy into specific objectives and measured across 4 perspectives: financial, customer, internal process, and learning and growth. Strategic workshops and brainstorming. Facilitate strategic workshops and brainstorming sessions involving key stakeholders to generate ideas, explore opportunities, and develop consensus around strategic priorities. So how do we estimate product backlogs items? So what is the importance of estimating product backlog items? The estimating product backlog item is crucial in agile software development for several reasons. One, prioritization. You have to estimate. Estimation helps prioritize product backlog items based on their relative effort or complexity. This allows teams to focus on high priority items that deliver the most valuable to the customer or business. Resource allocation. Estimation enables teams to allocate resources effectively by understanding the effort required to complete each backlog item. Predictability. Estimation provides stakeholders with a level of predictability regarding when features of functionality will be delivered. It helps in settling expectations and managing stakeholders' needs and dependency effectively. Risk management. Estimating backlog items helps in identifying potential risks and dependency early in project lifecycle. Continuous improvement. So obviously, like estimation facilitates continuous improvement by providing feedback on team performance and velocity. What are the techniques for estimating product backlog items? We have planning poker. Planning poker is a collaborative estimation technique where team members assign relative effort points to backlog item using a deck of cards with Fibonacci sequence numbers, e.g. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Team members discuss each item's complexity and reach a consensus on the estimated effort required to complete it. Relative sizing. Relative sizing involves comparing backlog items to each other and assigning relative effort points based on their perceived complexity, size, or risk. Story points. Story points are a unit of measure used to estimate the efforts required to complete a user story or backlog item. T-shirt sizing. T-shirt sizing is a simple and intuitive estimation technique where backlog items are classified into size categories such as small, medium, large, and extra large. This technique provides a quick and high-level estimation of the products required for each item, making it suitable for initial backlog refinement. Bucket system. The bucket system involves grouping backlog items into predefined buckets or categories based on their complexity or size. For example, items may be categorized as small, medium, or large, with each category corresponding to a range of effort points. Factors affecting estimation. This involves complexity, size, dependency, uncertainty, experience and expertise, historical data. Relative estimation. What is relative estimation? Relative estimation is a technique used in agile software development to estimate the size, effort, or complexity of tasks. User stories or backlog items relative to each other rather than assigning absolute values. Instead of estimating in units like hours or days, relative estimation compares items against a reference item or baseline and assigns them a comparative value. So what are the benefits of relative estimation? We have simplicity, speed, flexibility, focus on relative priority, encourages collaboration, reduce bias. So what is simplicity? This involves focusing on comparing items to each other rather than assigning absolute values. And speed is typically faster than absolute estimation methods because it relies on comparing items to reference points rather than determining precise values. About flexibility. Relative estimation provides flexibility in adapting to changing requirements or uncertainties. What is focus on relative priority? Relative estimation helps team prioritize backlog items on their relative size or effort compared to each other. Also, encourage collaboration. Relative estimation encourages collaboration and consensus building among team members. What are the techniques involved in relative estimations? Like we said in the previous one, we have planning poker, obviously, like which did involve using Fibonacci sequence, which is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13. T-shirt sizing, which involves grouping it into small, medium, large, extra large, and all. Dot voting. Dot voting is a technique where team members use stickers or markers to vote on the relative size or effort of backlog items. Each team member is given a certain number of votes, and they place their votes on the items they believe are the most complex or effortful. Comparative estimation. Comparative estimation involves comparing backlog items to reference items or baseline and assigning them a relative value based on their similarity or difference. Bucket system. The bucket system categorizes backlog into defined buckets or groups based on their relative size or effort. For example, items may be categorized as small, medium, or large, which is almost the same as the t-shirt sizing, which is category representing a range of values. The last topic we'll be looking at today is user stories. What is user story? A user story is a concise descriptive of a software feature or requirement from the perspective of an end user or customer. It is lightweight, informal narrative, and captures who, what, and why of a feature in a simple and understandable format. What are the components of user stories? Persona or user role. This component and define the user or persona for whom the feature is being developed. Obviously, like this involves like who the feature is being developed for. It describes the specific role or type of user who will benefit from functionality described in the user story. Action or goal. The action or goal component describes the desired action or outcomes that the user wants to achieve with the feature. Benefits or value. The component explains the value or benefit that the user will derive from the feature. It highlights the positive impact or result that the user expects to experience as a result of using the functionality described in the user story. For example, a simple user story format might look like this. As a user persona, I want to action or goal so that the benefit blah 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 value. Importance of user stories in estimation. We have granularity. User stories provide a granular level of detail about the features or requirements being developed, making them suitable for estimation at a manageable level of complexity. Understanding. User story helps understand a shared understanding of the requirement between development teams and stakeholders. By describing features from the perspective of end user, user stories promote clarity, empathy, and alignment. Prioritization. User story help prioritize features, always like the features that are needed or features that are like necessary with the customer business. By capturing what and why of a feature, user stories enable stakeholders to make informed decisions about which items are most important and should be estimated and implemented first. Scope management. User stories provide a mechanism for managing scope by breaking down larger features or epics into smaller, more manageable chunks. By estimating and prioritizing user stories incrementally, teams can control scope creep, ensure that work remains focused on delivering value, and adapt to changing priorities more effectively. Iterative refinement. User stories support an iterative approach to estimation and refinement by allowing teams to revisit and adjust estimates as they gain a better understanding of the requirements. So that brings conclusion to our class today. So if you have any question, don't forget to send us an email. And next week, Saturday, we'll be looking at linear outcome 9 and also linear outcome 10. And then Sunday is the assignments discussion. So I'll see you next week. Enjoy your week.